Good evening and thank you for joining us. The very hot weather warning was in force for the most part of the day, while the thunderstorm warning is expected to remain in effect until 8:30 p.m. This as the observatory logged 34.6 degrees in the afternoon, the highest record so far this year, with a hail warning issued earlier today. Hong Kong sweltered today with the observatory having recorded 34.6 degrees in the afternoon, the highest temperature so far this year, and also the hottest grain and ear day on record. The grain and ear, or Mangzhong in the traditional Chinese solar term, refers to a crucial, busy farming period with rising temperatures and more humid weather. This as Hong Kong is affected by a tropical depression near Taiwan and descending air flows with weak and hot winds in Guangdong. Many districts recorded temperatures above 35 degrees Celsius, with Taipo, Sai Kung, and Happy Valley topping 36 degrees, while Yunlong and Shengshui were the hottest at 36.9 degrees. As the amber heat stress at work warning was in effect during the day, employers must arrange appropriate breaks each hour for employees working outdoors or in non-air-conditioned environments. This rebar worker says today felt especially stuffy. At this construction site, the rest station offers fans and water, with even watermelon served. But some other workers have to figure out their own way to stay cool. This electric wire worker says it's quite uncomfortable today and they would take a break if they couldn't stand the heat. For contracted cleaners, their rest station is this semi-outdoor space. Concerned groups have called on authorities to revise the definition of work injuries to include heat stroke-related illnesses and fatalities. They cited cases where strokes were caused by not just the heat, but also high blood pressure or heart problems. Authorities sometimes do not treat the cases as work injuries, and the workers do not receive relevant compensations. The extreme heat has led to thunderstorms in parts of the city and a hail warning from the observatory. This is the start of a few rainy days, as a broad low-pressure trough is expected to affect the city, ushering in heavy showers and squally thunderstorms, and they may still last till mid-next week. The newly appointed chairman of the Competition Commission, JUN, says he would study the possibility to criminalize bid rigging. Senior counsel JUN made his first media appearance today after taking office as chairperson of the Competition Commission in May. The deadly fire at Wanful Court in Taipo spotlighted the city's serious issue of bid rigging. However, the Competition Commission, which focuses on combating the illegal anti-competitive practice as empowered by the Competition Ordinance, can mainly impose fines only, and their probes do not lead to criminal liability. The newly appointed chair admits insufficiencies in regulations and will consider criminalizing the offenses, noting that these serious anti-competitive behaviors are not just business offenses, but they also affect the public's livelihood.
We are looking in all possibilities and see how we could make the ordinance effective and have a sufficient deterrent effect to this kind of behavior.
He says he would wait for the independent committee on the Wanful Court fire to submit a report before making further recommendations.
I understand that the government may consider making a requirement that in tenders of that kind, there will be a non-collusion clause will be in the form of a statutory declaration. So whoever puts in the tender will have to make a statutory declaration that they are doing it independently without collusion with any other party, and therefore making that statutory declaration would by itself attract criminal liability if it is a false declaration.
The body hopes to come up with proposed amendments to the Competition Ordinance on bid rigging within this legislative year. JUN says the Competition Commission will also conduct studies on oil company pricing after a 10-year gap to prevent anti-competitive behaviors. The Commission says starting next month, some meetings will be open to the public in order to enhance transparency. The police have launched a 2-week operation to crack down on pedestrians jaywalking and drivers failing to pay attention on the road. And at least one driver suspected of drug driving was caught on the first day. Kelly Law reports.
At a traffic black spot on Hippo Street in Kwun Tong, pedestrians running red lights are a frequent sight. We near miss between pedestrians and vehicles. Police data shows 51 people have died in traffic accidents since May, up 42% from last year, and half of them were pedestrians. This man said he only crosses on green because as a senior with no income, he's worried about the fine. Another elderly explained she was rushing to a doctor's appointment. She said she thought the road was empty and crossed because she believed no one saw her. She said sorry. Police are reminding pedestrians to avoid three high-risk behavior: no running red lights, no whipping through traffic, and watch for blind spot to prevent accidents. During this 2-week enforcement operation, police will also crack down on dangerous driving behaviors, including inattentive driving. Enhanced patrols using unmarked stealth cars will be deployed. Around 6 a.m., officers stop a taxi without passengers swerving on Light Yip Street. The 53-year-old driver tested positive for ketamine. His case is scheduled for a court hearing on June 6. Kelly Law, TVB News.
Hezbollah rejects the latest ceasefire agreement between Israel and the Lebanese government, and the militant group demands a complete Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon as more fighting there hampers efforts to end the Iran war. The Hezbollah announcement comes as Israeli strikes killed at least 4 people and a UN peacekeeper caught in the crossfire. An Israeli soldier was also killed in combat in southern Lebanon. Tracy Furness reports.
Israeli government spokeswoman said Thursday that agreement between Israel and Lebanon is unprecedented.
This week, the 4th high-level trilateral meetings between Israel, Lebanon, and the United States took place, achieving something unprecedented. For the first time, all 3 parties are aligned in their determination to keep Iran's terror proxy, Hezbollah, out of the equation. Negotiations are actively ongoing with the goal of advancing a durable ceasefire and creating the conditions for greater stability and security for both of our nations.
In the Lebanese town of Sidon, people were skeptic about the latest ceasefire renewal, pointing out previous agreements had failed to stop the violence. Sidon resident Salah Nazab said, "We're tired of hearing about a ceasefire agreement being reached and then not to have it be implemented. It's all talk, no action." And Khaled Safawi, another Sidon resident, said, "We've had many announcements before this one, and not one of them had the interests of the people of the south or the Lebanese people." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and several ministers met with heads of local councils in northern Israel Thursday, promising they are committed to the security and flourishing of the north. This is UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the killing of a UN peacekeeper in southern Lebanon when a mortar struck a UN position near Marjayan in southern Lebanon. He urged all parties to respect the cessation of hostilities agreement. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he would be honored to meet with Iran's supreme leader to make a deal to end the conflict. When asked if he believes Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei would want to speak with him, considering U.S. bombing killed his father and family members, Trump had this to say.
Well, I would say I'm not his favorite person. But with that being said, he's probably I don't know, he's probably a professional. In some circles, he has a very good reputation, actually. You know, sometimes some people say bad, but a lot of people say bad about me. It's totally false, of course.
Meanwhile, Iran held a rally on Thursday to mark the Eid el-Gadir, a Shiite holiday. Many hardline supporters of the government participated in the rally, waving flags of Iran, Palestine, and the militant group Hezbollah. Some of those interviewed said nothing will be fixed until the Americans and Israelis are destroyed, and that this week's attack on Kuwait's airport is our inalienable right to give a firm, serious, and destructive response that makes the enemy regret what it did. Welcome back. President Xi Jinping will travel to North Korea next week in what will be his first visit in nearly 7 years. The state visit will take place next Monday to Tuesday and will come just weeks after Xi hosted U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in quick succession. She and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un met in Beijing last September and pledged mutual support and enhanced cooperation. Xi's last overseas trip was to South Korea last fall for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. Britain's Interior Minister accused activists of hijacking a tragedy to stir up violence after police were attacked at a protest over the death of a teenager who was handcuffed as he lay dying while his killer stood nearby. 2 people were arrested and 11 officers and a police dog were injured. Tracy Furness has more.
The family of a UK teen who died from a stab wound while handcuffed by police left 10 Downing Street after meeting British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday. The fatal stabbing of 18-year-old Henry Nowak last December erupted into a debate about policing, race and knife crime. The killing of Nowak drew renewed attention after the killer was sentenced to life with a minimum of 21 years in prison earlier this month, and following the release of a video showing police dismissing Nowak when he said he had been stabbed. Hampshire Police Chief Alexis Boone says he wants accountability over officers' response to Henry Nowak's murder.
So you're fully cooperating with this watchdog investigation?
Yes, we are, and we're intent on doing so. Because we understand and we know why, and how could you not understand by watching that video why the family want those answers. But, you know, officers face difficult situations day in, day out, and actually we need people to feel confident dealing with things, and that's why you've got a due process where, you know, the family's view absolutely must be heard, and officers' views have to be heard, and that's what that due process will enable, so that actually we get to the right outcome.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Wednesday paid tribute to the British teenager who was handcuffed as he lay dying while his killer stood nearby, but also condemned violence at protests over his death as completely unacceptable. The case has sparked widespread anger in the country, while populist political leader Nigel Farage and tech billionaire Elon Musk have amplified the charge that Britain has 2-tier policing, where fears of being called racist have led to ethnic minorities being given greater protections than others. Starmer calls for Musk to stop interfering with British politics. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Local authorities say a bear that was holed up inside an electronics factory in Japan after attacking 4 people has avoided being captured. Fukushima officials believe the bear escaped after releasing a window latch. The bear entered a steel factory in the city late Tuesday and attacked 4 people. It then entered a nearby electronics factory. Authorities have been hoping to capture it there. They have now launched a drone search for the bear. Bear attacks have become increasingly common in Japan in recent years. The Japanese government has stepped up a public awareness campaign urging hikers and mushroom hunters to check notifications about bear sightings and avoid outdoor activity in the early morning and evening when bears are active. Chief Executive JUN Lee continues his visit to Uzbekistan, where he tours a technology park. The facility is considered a core engine of the region's digital economic transformation. The IT Park is a national-level economic zone offering tax and rental incentives and convenient visa measures for technology companies and talent. During his visit, Lee meets with the First Deputy Minister of Digital Technology of Uzbekistan. Executives from Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation, Cyberport, and Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park signed a memorandum of understanding with IT Park to promote innovation and technology cooperation between Hong Kong and Uzbekistan. Chief Executive JUN Lee's delegation to Central Asia signed 96 cooperation agreements and memorandums of understanding with various organizations in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. One of the MOUs involves the Hong Kong Palace Museum, exchanging collections with the State Museum of the History of Uzbekistan. Tracy Furness reports.
Uzbekistan was a hub on the ancient Silk Road. Exchanges between China and the region can be traced back to the Western Han Dynasty, when Zhang Qian's mission to the western regions passed through Dayuan, near present-day Uzbekistan. During Chief Executive JUN Lee's trip to Central Asia, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Hong Kong Palace Museum and the State Museum of the History of Uzbekistan. The cooperation will focus on research, exhibitions, education and talent training, including co-curating exhibitions and bringing Uzbekistan's collection to Hong Kong, with the goal of exchanging collections between the two by 2028. Dr. Louis Ng Chi-Hua, Museum Director of the Hong Kong Palace Museum, hopes to use this opportunity to bring the history of Uzbekistan and the Silk Road to Hong Kong audiences. And Uzbekistan and Hong Kong may soon be sharing not just history, but technology. A mainland technology company has joined the Hong Kong delegation and is introducing 3D data technology to Uzbekistan. It hopes to bring mainland and Hong Kong technology experience, management methods and tools to help the Central Asian country develop its smart city planning, according to Chen Li, president of Shanxi Terrain Technology. Chen points out that the development of the Central Asian market is in its early stages, and this could offer many opportunities for outsiders to help develop the digital economy. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Hong Kong's development planning has long been criticized for its slow pace. A lawmaker and a former principal official hope, after formulating the Hong Kong 5-year plan, the government could accelerate development and improve people's livelihoods. As early as 1999, there have been talks by the District Council to develop this 3.8-hectare plot of land next to Tu Keng Lang MTR station in Cheung Kwan O into a park. However, for nearly 20 years, it has been left idle, which has led to problems including mosquito infestations. The latest estimate indicates that facilities will only begin to open in phases 4 years from now in 2030. Lawmaker Christine Fang, who also serves as a Sai Kung District Councillor, says the development progress of the Tu Keng Lang Park is slower than ants. She says children who moved to the neighborhood back then are now in university and the construction still hasn't started. It's not just a park that reflects Hong Kong's planning pace. The 8-kilometer Central Kowloon bypass connecting Yau Tsim Mang to Kwun Tong district began its planning process as early as 1991. It is only expected to be fully operational mid-year, that is 35 years later. The government has enacted dedicated legislation for the northern metropolis, hoping to accelerate planning and development. Fong says she hopes authorities will pay equal attention to livelihood projects outside economic development and the northern metropolis. And she hopes the Hong Kong 5-year plan can include these social elements to cater to citizens' needs. Former Secretary for Security Lai Tung Kwok, meanwhile, believes after formulating the Hong Kong 5-year plan, all policies and measures will be implemented more rapidly. Lai says the 5-year plan helps outline timetables and clear goals to expedite development with less need for repeated studies and consultations. When asked if civil servants can help efficiently implement the Hong Kong 5-year plan, Lai says the crux lies in the department heads, who should lead their team more effectively. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.